Was that the debut album?
There is a previous one which I sort of pretend doesn't exist now. But that's the one I think of as like my debut at this point, Hymns for the Exiled. And actually, the fact that you played that track on the radio all those years ago is pretty much the reason I started coming to England, because a promoter heard it and asked me to do a show, and I thought, well, why not? I'll come and try it out. And I've been coming back ever since, so I have you to thank for that.
You see, you never know who's listening. This is the thing, isn't it? So just to introduce us to your accompanying musicians.
Sure. So I have 2 of the 3 other members of the Young Man Band in the studio with me right now on the banjo, and it's going to be some glockenspiel and some voice, Ben Davis.
Hey, Ben.
Hello.
And in the big show, she plays keys and some electric guitar, but she's just singing today, Rachel Ries.
Hey, Rachel. Good. So what are you going to do for us first?
We're going to do a track from the new album. I think it's track 3, and it's called Dyin.
Okay, so it's Anaïs Mitchell with us here on Radio 2.
Be it work or be it right, Father, tell me, brings us to the mountainside. Every day a dying day, be it work or be it right. Oh, my sweet babe, we come to make a sacrifice. Every day a dying day. Be it good, Father, tell me, makes you bind me hand and foot. Every day a dying day, be it ill or be it good. Oh, my sweet babe, I am doing as I should. Every day a dying day, every day a dying day, every day a dying day.
Just sounds beautiful, Anaïs. It really does. Dying Day is the title of the song. Anaïs Mitchell is with us here in the studio. One of the reasons that I wanted to start with the track from the Hymns for the Exiled album, Before the Eyes of Storytelling Girls, is that, I think of your music as being that you've taken on board the idea of using songs as kind of mini storyboards, or albums, full albums as storyboards. That storytelling within songwriting is an important aspect of it all for you.
That's very true, yeah. Yeah, I've always loved the ability of songs to do that, to really tell a story that has a beginning and a middle and an end, and to take on the voices of different characters. And of course, the Hadestown record that came out a couple years ago was sort of a grand experiment in that, trying to tell a cycle of songs that told a story, and that all the songs kind of leaned on each other, or you needed to hear all of them in order to get to the end of the story.
Yeah, brave. I mean, that was a brave album, I thought. Oh. But at the same time, the reviews that you got for that album were absolutely fantastic, weren't they? People did seem to be able to completely get their brain around what this album was about.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seemed like a very obscure thing while we were working on it, and then when people responded that way, it was like, all right, something was working.
So what are you going to play for us next?
Yeah, we'd love to do basically the title track of this most recent record, Young Man in America, it's called.
Okay, it's Anaïs Mitchell with us here on Radio 2.
a mighty shout, opened her legs and let me out. Hungry as a prairie dog, young man in America, young man in America. Hungry, hungry, running every which way, young man in America. I come out like a cannonball, come of age of alcohol, raving in a field of rye, with a black and roving eye, black and roving eye, ravenous, ravenous. What you got, it's not enough, young man in America. Oh, shelter, mother shelter, mother shelter us. Ooh, my father was a lord of land, my daddy was a repo man. Put me out onto the street, didn't give a damn for me, did not give a damn. Daddy, daddy, gonna wish you never had me. I'm a young man, I'm growing right before your eyes. I might grow to such a size, blowing like a hurricane. Everyone to know my name, everyone will know my name. Blowing in, blowing out, shadow on the mountaintop, young man in America. Oh, shepherd, father shepherd, father shepherd us. Ooh, in my feathers and furs, clothes of many colors, many men will envy me when I'm in my finery. Me and my finery, envy me, spending all of my bright money, young man in America. Maybe I climb the stairs with a girl of golden hair, hold her like a sword and shield, up against this lonely world, up against the world. It's a lonely, lonely world for a yellow-headed girl and a young man. Hollow in my bones, make me cry and carry on, make the foam fly from my tongue, make me want what I want. Another wayward son, waiting on oblivion, waiting on a kingdom come to meet me in my sin, waiting to be born again. Mother, kiss me cheek and chin, a little medicine, and then I'll shed my skin and let me climb back in the bed you made me in.
Is Anaïs Mitchell here with us on Radio 2, and just describe the sort of eyes through which you're looking via the makeup, the lyrics of this album, Anaïs. How this sort of arrived into your mind.
Yeah, well, there wasn't any kind of grand plan, you know, that I wanted to. So the album is called Young Man in America, as I said, and there's a lot of male characters on it, including the narrator of the song we just sang. And I didn't really set out to do that, but I found that the characters that kept sort of wanting to speak were men, and that one in particular was sort of he was a character that was able to talk about the state of the United States right now. And there's a song that comes before Young Man. It's called Wilderland, and it's kind of sort of sets the scene for the landscape that the young man kind of bursts out into. And that song was definitely inspired by some of the changes that have happened in the recent recession. And there was, in particular, like, I saw some footage of people that were being put out of their houses in the housing crisis, and all of their furniture out on the street, and this idea of America as a wild place, where you don't know if anyone's got your back, and sort of every man for himself, kind of dog eat dog. I read this crazy article actually in Rolling Stone a couple months ago about the city of Detroit and how a lot of people who had to move out of their houses because they couldn't pay the mortgage, they left their dogs, their family dogs, and their dogs became wild, and there are these wild dogs roaming the streets of Detroit. And just that kind of imagery of the wildness. So the young man character, I think he bursts out onto that scene, and he's hungry and thirsty, and he's looking for love and pleasure and success, and he's told, in a way, he's sort of sold this idea that he can be whatever he wants to be. He doesn't have to answer to anyone, and that makes him high and low and feel very lonesome and in the song, it's as though he's calling out for some kind of guidance, a mother, a father, some kind of ancestor figure to tell him how to live his life, because he just doesn't know. And there's a lot of characters on the record that are similarly really kind of hell-bent on one thing or another. There's a character, the shepherd, which is based on a book that my dad wrote when he was a young man. And this character is he's older and more mature than the young man, but he's fixated on his work, and he ends up, losing his wife and child in childbirth. It's just sort of a really sad story, but a metaphor for, this kind of relentless pursuit of things, and then the things that fall by the wayside in that. A lot of the characters have that kind of reckless determination.
It's interesting too, isn't it, for a female to take, as it were, the male role in a song. I mean, Alison Krauss did it a couple of times on Raising Sand, and there's a new album in this country just released by Rumour called Boys Don't Cry, which is it's an album of songs all written by men, but Rumour sings them. So she's the female voice, but singing lyrics written by and reflecting the opinions of men. It's kind of an interesting slant, in a way, on it all, I think.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of fun. I mean, for me, I think it's fun to take on the voice of a man, because there's no chance that someone will think it's an autobiographical story. So I feel a little freer, maybe, to sort of reach for some deep feelings without feeling like it's going to come across confessional or precious or something.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. It really does. So now, your choices, Anaïs, of tracks for us to play on the programme tonight. And first of all, I'm going to go to Peter Gabriel, because you've chosen Here Comes the Flood. So the reason then for the choice of this particular track?
Well, I've always been a big Peter Gabriel fan. The beautiful thing I think about this song is that it's really raw and stripped down. It's just piano and voice, I think. And he's such he's an artist for me that has always worked on multiple chakras. You can feel him kind of throughout your body. It's where it works intellectually, and you feel it emotionally and in your heart, but you also want to dance. And he's done so many amazing things with production of different kinds, just rhythm tracks, and I kind of love that this one is as powerful as it is, and it's just him. He's seeing into the future in a sense in this song, and it's a weird song. It's kind of abstract. It's always moved me.